I got off work. So I was on YouTube looking, and Gates wait until I share any information wrapped up. Good morning, welcome back to Salty Country. Today is day 6 since the excavator blew the hose. I think I've actually been working on it. Let's see, today will be day 5. I've worked an hour or two in the evenings when I got off work. So anyway, it's a cool morning. I think it was right around 50 degrees here. The temperature made a drastic change yesterday. It's windy today. So anyway, I waited for the sun to come out and it warm up a little bit. So I'm going to explain exactly what I've done so far. I don't want this series of this hose repair to be a very long series in case something happens and you have to replace the same hose and you're watching this series. So anyway, let me explain real quick what I'm doing. All right, the main big pressure line, I assume it's a pressure line. It's the biggest line coming to the pump, and it may be a return, I'm not sure. But the big line, I've got it capped off. I've got it pulled out. I had to cut it and pull it out. But after working on this thing for a few days, I will tell you, if you do this, you'll need a piece of cardboard to put over that plug, because my arm has been sore for 3 days. Okay, I'm back on the hydraulic module side. Right there's where the hose ties in. All right, that rubber grommet that you can see in there, there's 2 of these grommets. One is about midway of the engine. It has a firewall on each side of it. It's in there fairly tight. So let me see if I can get my hand in here and I'll show you what I'm attempting to do in there. All right, inside of there, I've got a hacksaw blade and I'm attempting to cut it off horizontally right here and basically cut this leg of the rubber grommet off. That way, I'm hoping that I can get the 1 3/8, which I think from long to long, it's probably gonna be 1.5 inches of the line fitting. I'm hoping that I can get it pushed through or pull through. I may have to tie a rope. Worst case scenario, I'm thinking that I may have to cut the other side here off and cut this off. So the only other option, according to Cat, to get to that and take it apart is to pull the cab, pull all the hydraulic lines, disconnect all the wiring, and I'm just not in a good location to do that. I've got the skid steer, so I could pull the cab, so lifting it's not an issue, but I'm just not gonna go to that extent unless I just have to. All right, so when I get ready to pull this new hose in, I'm gonna pull these back so I can feed that hose through there. And then my plan initially is to tie a rope to it and try to get it positioned, the fitting position just right, and pull it through. Hopefully that works. I think it'll work. My thought is, if I just cut one side, I'm cutting this side on the one that's in there. I'm leaving this side over here. My thought is, once I get the hose in, I may try to push this piece back into the bracket and then zip tie this line to like a line above it or something, just to hold it. But that's where we're at. We're going to keep working on it little by little and see if we can get this grommet cut. I've been cutting on the grommet this will be my second day. I took a hacksaw blade. Let me go over here and show you how I'm having to do this with a hacksaw blade. Got another update. You may notice that the side panel and the engine doors panels back on. Anyway, we had a productive day out here. I'm going to wait until I share any information about the company that come out and helped me. They're not done yet. They had to order a new die for their crimper. So when that die comes in, they're gonna crimp the last fitting. So we're gonna turn around. I'm gonna show you the machine and show you what we did today. It was a very, very productive day. All right, I got this panel back on there temporary. I'm gonna have to do some adjusting and all this stuff. I've got it this way just in case I have to pull it back off. Plus, if it has a fluke rain shower or something, we're kind of keeping the water out of everything. But real quick to review, that line come in on the top of the hydraulic pump there. It had a 45 on it. So what I had the mobile service to do, he came out here and was very open to suggestions when he seen the dilemma I was up against. I talked to multiple reps this morning before they sent him out, and they're like, yeah, we can take care of that. So anyway, the young man that came out here, he and I looked at the machine. He talked to his bosses, and we came up with a plan. So what he did was he crimped the 45 on the end of the hose. We measured the hose that I had made, and the hose was exactly 5 feet. So he cut a section of hose, crimped the 45 on it. The 45 screws on top of the pump right here. All right, here was the fun part. This took us probably a half hour or so, but we finally got it. I took the seat off, so we had some access from the top, very minimal access from up here down through the hole, down by the throttle linkage. All right, so we got the hose snaked back in there, and the problem is the hose is so stiff, it really needs to have a turn so you can line it back up with the grommet. So what we did was we just looped a rope around the hose, got it kind of pushed in there close. Couldn't get it lined up because the hose is so stiff. It's over that way, and we're trying to get it over this way. So the rope just went around it. So I was holding the hose and the rope back here, and I was pulling the rope. Let me show you. I was pulling the rope right here between the engine and the muffler, down in that way. All right, so the young man that was helping, or for the hose repair guy, he was up here on where the seat's at, going through the seat, down below the seat pan, down in that way. I was pushing on the hose and pulling on the rope, and we finally got it started into the rubber grommet. So once we got it started into the rubber grommet, both of us came on this side right here. Now, you've got about 2.5 feet inside the machine until it hits that rubber grommet block. So we had 3 foot of hose here. He and I both started pushing and twisting the hose, and it started through. So I just kept working the hose back and forth, and he come over here on this side. As you can tell, we got a new hose in here, and And once I got the hose kind of worked and pushed through far enough right here through this outer block, rubber block back in there, he grabbed the hose and was able to pull and help me get it in. And so we thought we were in business. We thought we were just a few minutes away from having this thing wrapped up, but he's got to crimp this fitting. If you'll remember, and I'm gonna do a recap, a real simple recap, in case somebody else has this problem. They can watch that one video, and eventually, when we get done, if anybody has the same issue, they can watch that one video. It'll tell them what direction they have to go. So anyway, his crimper didn't have the right die in it, so his bosses ordered this crimper, so they're gonna be back in a few days so that they can crimp this. This other hose had a 90 crimped onto it. So what we've done here is we've put a 90 on, and this hose is gonna connect to that 90. So that's how we got it in. Believe me, it's not easy. I think one thing that helped, he was a former military guy himself, Air Force vet, and he and I both had the attitude of, we're not gonna let this hose kick our butt, and we got it in. So anyway, I'm gonna get some protection on this hose. We'll bag this up, get it taped up good in case we get a rain shower. They don't get any water in that. And they'll be back, crimp this here, and then we will connect it up here like so, and we'll be done. So anyway, this is a tough project here. So if they're able to crimp this and everything works right, we should be back in business. Like I said the other day, my hydraulic, this is my reservoir. It normally, I keep it in the middle of this to allow for expansion of the fluid and stuff. It drained in probably 10 seconds. It drained the whole entire tank, because this is the biggest line going to the pump. So anyway, we'll get this thing serviced back up and get this hose connected once it gets crimped to there, and test everything, make sure it's good, and then I'll be out here making sure bolts and pans, I got this one front corner pan pulled off the belly, just make sure I got everything put back on, snug back up. One thing I'm going to also change out is this heat shield on the muffler, and I may have to modify it a little bit when I get the other one, because I think you got to have the exhaust pipe off, and I'm not going to do that. When that hose blew the other day, it basically just blew the bottom part of that heat shield apart on the exhaust, on the muffler there. So I think that heat shield was probably had a gap or something down there, and over time the heat, let's see if I can see, you can't see it, I'll pull this panel back off when I do the recap. But anyway, I think that heat up under there heated that hose and caused the failure over 3,000 hours of running. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this episode up. I wanna thank everyone for watching. This is day 8 since I blown this hose. Yeah. want to try to put some good footage out so that if anybody else has this issue, they're not going through the trial and error that I've been through. Also, in the recap video that I do, it kind of sums everything up. So it's a one-stop shop. You can just watch that video. I'll share the hose company that come out and helped. Until they get this line over here crimped and it holds, I'm not going to mention them. I just want to make sure that what they say will work will actually work. I will give them this. I mentioned in a previous episode, Pertec come out here. I think Pertec's a national company. They said they wouldn't touch it. So I give this company credit. They seen the situation I was in, seen what was involved in tearing the machine apart. If I put the completed hose, tried to put the completed hose in, and we're like, yeah, we can fix you up. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for watching. Remember, if you like our content, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please share our content with your friends and drop us a comment. I'm not telling you this is what you need to do to your machine, but I'm just showing you what I'm going to do to mine, hopefully, to fix it, instead of pulling the cab and tearing half the machine apart to replace one hose. So anyway, we'll see you on the next one.